Hello, this is episode 3 of the work I've been doing on my 23B. In this episode, I'll show you what I did to fix up the fuel sender, a little bit of rust prevention, but the main part of this video will be concentrated around fixing up the pontoon tops, and I'll show you what I've done there. Okay, I've removed the seats and the seat belts. I need to clean up the interior. You can see the cross brace by the fuel tank has been removed. That was a little bit rusty. That's now being painted. And there's the fuel tank. The actual fuel sender is on the driver's side. I'll just show that to you. And that is down there. It's interesting, it seems to be halfway up the tank. It must be one of the floating ones. I need to get rid of some of the fuel in the tank in order to be able to pull that out without spilling fuel everywhere. And then I'll see how it's wired up. With the interior out, I could loosen the fuel tank. As you can see, it's not a huge fuel tank, but I had to get it out because the sender is in here, and it was the only way I could pull it out completely. So I've done that. Obviously, it needs to be cleaned up, and it needs the actual fuel hoses going to the fuel pump are perished as well, so I'd like to replace them while I'm at it. I tested the fuel sender, and I saw that it was very easy just to flip this around 180 degrees, and that's what I've done. So hopefully that will cause the gauge also to report correctly with empty being empty and full being full. So we'll see whether that works. Okay, I've addressed the rust on this piece here. And next, in order to test the fuel tank, I need to connect the fuel lines. But if you have a look here, the fuel lines don't look great. So I'll be replacing them with new lines. It will be a lot safer. And yeah, that needs to be done now. Once that's done, I can test the fuel sender, see whether it actually does read empty when the tank is empty, add some fuel and see whether we get any change. Just took the car for a run, and there's two things that I need to fix immediately. The first is that the indicators have a beeper in them, which is so annoying, so I need to get rid of that. And also I'm not sure whether the battery is being charged by the alternator properly. So I need to check that out. Other than that, it runs strong. I still need to make sure that everything is tied down properly. So this was just a run around the neighborhood, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm repairing the side pod covers too. You can see over on the side there that the covers have been taking off. Let's have a look at them. So here we have the one on the left hand side with the hole for the gas tank. It is fine, but there is actually a crack in the back here that I need to repair. I want this to be very stable, and at the moment I don't think the repair is particularly robust. This is the one on the driver's side, or the right hand side of the car, and it's got this extra hole here. I don't know what it was for, but I want to cover that in. I want to move the this is where the battery tender goes in. I want to move that up here so they're all together. And again, it looks like this was made out of a couple of pieces. It is fiberglass, and it hasn't been repaired particularly well. So my plan is to just grind out the old fiberglass repair, get them all lined up evenly, put new fiberglass on there, and get it looking tidy. I've also ordered some new vinyl, so it will be covered with vinyl as well. Okay, I've cleaned up the back of all the old fiberglass. It wasn't very good. It wasn't much fiberglass in there, and the resin really didn't cure that well. So what I've done is that I've put in some aluminum strips that I've just used self-tapping screws to hold the thing together. And what I'll do is I'll clean that up, and then I'll start glassing the gaps here. And once I've got enough of the gaps glassed, I can take off the the little straps and do it properly and finish it off. And if we have a look at the back, we can see what that looks like. So I don't know how that cracked, whether that was adjusted to be a little bit narrower than what the original molded piece was, but we'll make it fit nicely. I've done the initial fiberglassing of the side plate, and as you can see, I've avoided glassing over the aluminum strips. I've filled in holes up there. There were superfluous holes, and this large hole, I don't know what it was for, but it wasn't used, so that's all glassed in now. This thing here, this oval here, is where I'm going to mount a speedometer. I found a GPS speedometer that fits into there. The race car doesn't have a speedometer, but I thought it'd be useful on the street, so I'm doing that. So here's the driver's side pod top. I'm about to put some vinyl across it. You can see I've got some vinyl that should look quite nice. And what I want to do it in sections. So what I'll do is I'll put contact adhesive here. I've masked out the other areas. They are the more difficult areas. And I've also indicated on the vinyl where I need to put contact adhesive. Then I'll spread it across, lay it flat, and then I'll do each of these individual areas separately. I will need to cut around the corners in order to make it fit properly. These are the holes. There's one for the power switch, there's the battery tender, there's the USB charger, and this is where I'm going to put the speedometer. The speedometer will fit over there and it will face upwards towards the driver. Obviously on the race car it didn't have a speedometer, but for a street car I'd like to have one. So I bought an inexpensive GPS one. That should work well. This here was previously used as the battery tender port. It's just a nuisance it being so far away, so I glassed that over. And as you can see, I've glassed the top together. It looks pretty robust. This hole has been fixed up and it's all very smooth. So let's see how the gluing goes. So I've covered the main base and two of the sides. I still have to do this side and that side, and then I have to go around underneath and fold it around and glue the edge. It doesn't look too bad, not bad for a first attempt at upholstering anything, and it should look fine in the car. Finally got the pontoon cover done. As you can see, I've got black vinyl across it. I've put in the new speedometer, which looks fine. Once the door's up, you won't be able to see it from the outside, but it does give me speed. It's a GPS one, so I just have to mount the GPS sender. I just need to do the passenger side, and then we're done with that.